out some ideas. Just went on a walk. All right, so figured out a lot of stuff about how style is gonna work. So basically, so phase one, we're gonna build out a style buffer with instructions and values. Each, it's gonna look a lot like the element buffer. So it's gonna be like depth first tree with depth data that you traverse when compiling. So it's actually just like, and actually, you know what? I was wrong because you kind of build this layout tree, and there is sort of a compilation step. Like, this is sort of like commit layout is sort of like solving is sort of like this and this, like these two steps are sort of like compiling the layout, and now we compile the styles. So this could probably, I'm just gonna call this compile because that is sexy. Realistically, that, I mean, it just look like, you know what I mean. That's sort of a flex that you have a compile function. That's hard. People don't have that in a lot of their code bases. I do, really. When you're looking at it, and that's hard, and it's sort of indicative. It's like, okay, you change something, you have to recompile, right? Like, you know what I mean? That just makes sense. Okay, so we have this style thing. We're gonna have a style buffer. We know that. Depth first tree with depth data that you traverse when compiling. So, I have to re understand how we do the element tree and how we handle depth there, but we're gonna do it the same way with style because we know the depth information. Once we create the element, we know the depth information. So we're gonna also do that with style. Um, we're gonna do. I don't think we need to have a type, but let's just say so the layout is like, do we need to say end? Yeah, we probably need to say end because we don't know, we don't necessarily know the size, and we could either go back and put like a size thing, but or we could just say like end. So we could start off with, so the first thing we expect is a is depth. Like what, a UN 16 depth. Okay. Now we sort of expect style op data of expected type. So, you know, and then this goes on, and then it's the end. So, okay, how do we handle compilation? So, or how do we handle inheritance? So, first of all, one of the ops is going to be, like an example of the op will be like inherit, or maybe we use class or use or something like that. I might just do class just because like I'm kind of used to CSS styles. Like I'm kind of nice at them. So we could do class and then you pass in. Actually, I'm gonna use inherit. I mean that's a little bit more like, that's a verb. I think I like that better. Inherit, and then we pass in like an ID or a string. So that's how we do that. So what can we inherit? Well, if I'm in this tree, right, I don't know how to access this part from, like, you know, let's say I'm doing the style here, like I don't get an ID from up here, right? And so what can I inherit? Well, what I am proposing is that in like either all in the style buffer, we have two different buffers. We say, I don't know if it matters, um, but this is just something to consider. We say we have like we have different like predetermined styles, or like preset like classes. So you could say like And we have a buffer, and then we have sort of like a index buffer. Wow, index buffer, like an OpenGL. Okay, so we have an index buffer. I don't know why I'm putting this in brackets because this isn't part of this buffer, but like, you know, you have like your ID is the index. So like, you know, 0, 1, 2, and then the value is the offset in style buffer. Okay, so that's how we do. So we could do like we could have like an active style, right? An active, let's say it points to 0, the first thing in the style buffer. And this is something you set up before. This is something that you would be like like style, you know, like create active style. Like this is sort of like a style sheet concept. Like a style sheet doesn't change. That's not dynamic. You create that once, and then you have an index buffer that points to you various styles. So it's going to inherit from so what it will do is in the compilation step, right? You see this tag, then you parse the ID, then all you do is run the instructions from that style. So this is how we can have multiple inheritance. So we could just have something that's active, and maybe active just sets border color, right? So you could just say like, you know, border color, like you know, set border color, and then like you can inherit this on any style, on any object you want that takes border color. Now there is something to be said for like maybe this slows down the style compilation process. This is not some like styles. It's like, again, like as long as it's fast when we render it, I think compiling styles is not something that we need to do that often. Um, I actually don't know, and like unless we're actually changing the layout, which means we're actually moving around stuff in memory. Like if we update the layout tree, like there is going to be sort of a concept where like there's going to be like light updates and heavy updates. Like for instance, if like some text needs to change in this tree, that like your buffer doesn't need to change. You know, only one like you don't have to move like memory doesn't have to shift around to accommodate that change. So we need some sort of like tree diffing algorithm and whatever. But um so style is not really going to change. Style changes when you change largely what you're rendering, like layout wise. Otherwise it like we are going to do things where it's like, okay, you set the style for each pseudo class. So you say focus update, you know what I mean? uh yeah. What we probably want to do is have some sort of like we probably do want to emit an actual buffer and not like a vector. I mean, I understand it's the same. We probably don't want each style to have like a fixed size. And because we already have this sort of like element index thing, or we have this element handle that could have a style, um that could have like an index to the style buffer, and then maybe at the beginning it has some sort of like, you know, in or whatever that you know, you can read different flags and see like, okay, does this have a hover style, does this have whatever, and if it does, you know, you could go to like, we could do it similar to event handling. I don't know if I hate that. I actually don't think I do, because it's lit, because you're still accessing the memory in a contiguous way. I just don't know how predictable, I don't know how obvious that is to the CPU or the compiler or whatever, based on the way that this code's going to look. But I think that's the right way to do it. Okay. 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 It's time. Okay. All right. So, all right, we have this concept worked out. It's going to take a little bit to implement it, but let's start with something simple. We know that where's the style function? It's somewhere. Okay, we don't even take anything except for this. Everything should have a style. Or I mean, we know boxes are going to have a style. So we could do something like this. We could say, right element. What does begin do? Begin just increases the depth. So right element, so what we probably want is something like style buffer writer .hpp. That's probably what we want, and we want to do pragma once namespace tie UI v3. All right, let's see how this works, because this is going to be pretty similar. I'm actually just going to copy this. And maybe this depth thing, cuz now it's sort of like, well we could consolidate. Depth could be one property somewhere else, but I don't know. That might be insane. That might be doing too much. All right. So include v2 util buffer. And I keep using this. I mean, this has got to be like this should probably be in the util for the whole engine. Is really what this should be. But whatever. It still stood vector based. I don't know. Anyways. We should say something like begin style. Yeah. We should have something like begin style, and all we do, and we have a style buffer writer and style buffer and depth. Style buffer writer. We don't take a type. Style buffer writer write just the depth. Okay. Again, this buffer API, this is a lot, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? God is good. All right, begin style. We're gonna start off with the writing the depth. Okay. Inline auto write. Write attribute or write style. I mean, should it be field? Write style field or attribute? I kind of like write style field or write style attribute. This is another naming thing. I don't know. I'll do write style attribute. Write style field. Maybe I'll do write style field, and we'll see. Whatever. So we can pass in the writer. Then we need to take a style op, which I'm gonna put in here. I'm gonna move it from API into here, but it's gonna have to move. And then we say writer.stylebuffer.write op, writer.stylebuffer.writer.write value. That can be const. This is different. They can take. We need to make sure that we're writing the actual value and not like some pointer or reference. But that's pretty much it, right? Because we don't have a concept of expressions here. So it's just write style field, and then we probably want begin children, end children, and then we want and then we could say inline auto end style write style op end. I don't feel like this is okay to me. Okay, so we have depth information and we know when the thing is over, and we can just write this out. So let's add this to the API because I'm pretty excited about this, and then we can take a look at it. So we say include style buffer writer. This probably just ends up being write style field, and then we use UI dot and then we have, so UI, which is just context, should just have, we have element buffer writer, we could have a style buffer writer. Oh, see, this is sort of like a doozy, right? This is a doozy. So I like, where do we store this buffer? I don't know. I don't have the best answer for this. Like where do we? Because solve buffer use this. I mean, we could just do something like this. Let's just do. We'll figure this out later where this actually belongs, but we'll change that. We'll get rid of these pointers. We'll take a non-const ref. Okay, that's fine. Then we have style buffer, and then buffer writer dot style buffer dot data dot reserve. Okay, this should be done. We're not relying on pointers, so like it's fine if it reallocates, but like we want to avoid that for sure, like for sure. But it's not gonna break. It's just gonna be slow. And it's gonna be slow once. It's gonna be okay, and then it becomes slow. Okay. Style buffer data reserve. Okay. Boom. Now in this style buffer, okay, that's fine. Now an API, we were passing UI.style buffer writer. Okay, so we actually have a writer. Okay. Oh, we don't want to return this. Great. Okay. So now this actually does something. And so see, how did we do this? Like if we're gonna do it the same way as the element thing, we probably, because the depth, if we just omit it every time, like, okay, but if we know to read the depth, we're just gonna write um uh begin style UI dot style buffer writer, and that writes the depth. We're just gonna do that every time. So it's gonna be, we're gonna be writing the redundant depth, but the depth is sort of like the begin. Yeah. Okay. So we begin the style, and then once style returns, we can say end style. Or once this function actually gets called. Okay. Okay. Now, we need to think about a few things, because I'm pretty sure this is gonna work. Like this is the same. I mean, I don't have a really good way of testing this, but let's just run it to make sure it doesn't crash. Okay, it didn't crash. That's good. And this still got called. Like, yeah, we didn't break anything. The question is, how do we want to handle states? Do we want to say, like, yeah, how do we want to handle states? I mean, that's sort of a good question. Like, should it be an argument here, like PC normal tie UI? Should it be like that? And by default it's normal, but we say hover. Or do we want to say like something like hover, and then all those things go into hover? Because then you're just declaring it once and things are grouped together. I actually don't mind that, because then we can group together things. It visually looks better, and we can group together things. So we could say something like, and it's just like, okay, we just omit one thing to the buffer. So by default everything is normal. You can't, I mean, we can enforce this later, but we could say, okay, yeah. How about let's do it like this. Let's say, where's the API? This is actually good API design, in my opinion. Like, it's weird. It's a weird API, but it's good. So we can take, style takes a style writer, or style state writer, and we're gonna define this, but style state writer. Okay, what's a style state writer? Okay, well, it itself is a function, well, inline auto normal. And then this should just take something like this. Where did I set that function? Okay, down here. Normal requires all style writers. Args dot dot. We don't care what they are. State writer. Return boom boom. Hover. Active. I'm not gonna do focus because I'm not sure how I don't know if I want that to be like this level. I feel like that's a higher up. I feel like that's honestly like a widget level concept. So once we get to widgets, that's fine. Okay, so normal hover active. So we say something like, so we could say normal is gonna be all these things. Hover, maybe we just want the background color to change. Do we just want to take an initializer list? Because if we're gonna have multiple levels of this stuff, like that is kind of annoying. I mean, I'll make it an option. Style state writer. We could do, what was it? Just a stood initializer list style state writer, right? So we could do something like this, and then I like how everything is like perfect. I like it like that. I think I like it like that a little bit better. I don't know what the performance overhead of taking initializer lists is here. Maybe I should ask chat because it's sort of unclear to me. I mean, like, am I heap allocating things? I remember I looked it up last time and then I kind of forget. Like, quad. Okay, let's pass in the signature. So that's quad, and then this is style with the stood initializer list. Both ways of accomplishing a similar thing, API wise. Unsure of the cost of using an initializer list here. Does this incur heap allocations? What is the overhead? Is it technically faster to use the quad style of API where you just pass a list of args? Because really I'm just doing it for the formatting. Okay, it's much cheaper than many people think. the objects are all one byte. They are empty structs just to literally just use to make sure that empty marker types and the performance difference is essentially non-existent. Whatever. All right. I guess I'll do this. Yeah, if you wanna set a few parameters, you can just write it like that. Otherwise, you can write it like this. It's just annoying because like am I doing this purely because um I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna do it like this for now. Okay, so normal and hover. So let's say we're compiling this, right? Um, and let's say we don't see this normal function. If we get normal, right? Okay, here's sort of a thing, right? Because in this style of API, we can't prepend in the array. We can't say, okay, this was normal. You know? So maybe this isn't the best way to do it. Huh. But then you specify it every time, and then you could check to see if it changed or something like that. And I'm all for less depth. Like if we do something like, oh, I guess we can remove that. Like this is a little bit more easy to like reason about. It would be nice. I just don't know what like the default style is, but like I don't have like a super customized Clang format. I wish I could like specify a function and have the option to like put that on a new line, but I don't. But I don't know. I don't know if that's like really the problem here. All right. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go make breakfast. Think about this, and then potentially log back in. I got some other stuff going on, but I think the idea, the sort of, I mean, this API I feel really good about. The problem is going to be specifying background color for hover or for for active. Um, it might have to be an argument in here. I'm not against that. Um, and I might just do it for now. It's gonna suck to like type that out over and over again, but it is what it is. Now, what's next? Okay, so we do that. We should have something like inherit, and then we need another API that writes this style stuff, but to like permanent storage. So like whether it's to a different buffer or not should be irrelevant. It should be part of the same API. You should be able to write a style and be like, this is, and get the ID back. You can't do that. There's no point to doing that here. And if you did that, it'd be stupid. But like you should be able to do it up here. Okay. And yeah, this looks like a lot. I mean, so does literally any UI framework that allows you to specify inline styles. Inline styles are not pretty. This is like pretty good looking, but inline styles usually are not very pretty. So the best we can do is say, look, I like I feel this a lot when it's sort of like on the one hand it's like I really want on the one hand it's like I really want to be able to sort of like update styles at will. I want to like try some stuff out. I want to say like, if something in the state is a certain way, set the style this way. You know what I mean? I want to say like, selected, boom, otherwise background color something else. Like I want to be able to do that on the fly. Or just, inherit or nothing. There should probably just be like a do nothing function. So, but I also want to be able to be like, okay, like I want to specify a box. I want to say, okay, this is generally what the whole application looks like. Let me specify it up front. This is the text, this is the font, this is the whatever. Boom. And not have it be like, oh, like text field has this style, font has this, because I think the issue you run into that is like, have you ever like, I don't know if we sidestep this, but what I kind of want to avoid, and like I get why this exists, but this is just like you have 1,000 different things, and like all this stuff, it's like inherit. Um, but really, like there's only single inheritance here. That's the issue when you have like theme, is you only get, okay. I think that's the problem. That's the problem that we need to address and fix with this UI framework. Is like many times if you're sort of doing it like the idea of a theme means here's like a preset list of things that you can change and things inherit from those other things. That works for like small applications or a situation like this where like you don't want you want the user to only be able to theme certain things about CLine. Um, but I actually really like the flexibility that something like CSS or QSS sort of allows you to have. Multiple inheritance, um, and I don't think that's actually that hard to implement. I actually think most of what we've struggled with on this video has been API design and wanting it to look aesthetically good and be ergonomic, not will this work. We already know it'll work. We already mapped it out. You know what I mean? We already did, we figured out how inheritance will work. We're going to have our index buffer. We're going to have sort of like long-term style storage, and then we're going to have inline styles that inherit from their parents. Each thing automatically inherits from their parents. We're going to emit sort of a flat style buffer. Maybe we're going to emit sort of like a style buffer where there's no inheritance and every field is filled for everything that is necessary, depending on the type of element that's getting rendered. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be like computationally like insane to do. So I'm pretty excited to actually like write this out, but we have a really good idea of what we want to do, and that's a good place to stop.